Welcome to our Pharmacy Frontiers podcast. I'm Daniel Good, your host for today. Today we have two guests to talk about their practice, the Bull Hygeia Award, and why it matters in the modern pharmacy climate. Let me first introduce both of our podcast guests, and then we'll begin our conversation. First, we have Heather Lyons-Burney, who serves as a clinical associate professor for the UMKC School of Pharmacy Satellite at the MSU campus in Springfield, Missouri, with an emphasis on ambulatory care practice. She has coordinated and co-coordinated the required self-care OTC courses, applied skills lab, a required non-sterile compounding course lab, as well as two electives, innovation in pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences, and advanced community pharmacy practice, with an emphasis on entrepreneurship. Throughout her career, she has promoted the profession of pharmacy and has encouraged the development of team-based patient-centered care and innovative services, as well as the importance of community engagement. Following residency, her career began as an inpatient clinical pharmacist at Cox Health in Springfield, Missouri, which was followed by a community pharmacy ownership of 3 pharmacies, including a compounding practice along with her husband, Brian. In 2010, Heather and other community leaders opened the Faith Community Health Clinic, an affordable and comprehensive primary care clinic for the uninsured and underinsured population surrounding Branson. An expansion of services led to the creation of the state's first recognized charitable pharmacy, My Neighbor's Charitable Pharmacy, to provide access to prescription medications to the underserved population beyond the clinic's reach. And we'll hear more about that later. Locally, Heather has continued to serve the community, including various boards, as well as involvement with the Taney and Greene County coalitions focused on prevention of substance misuse, the Taney County Health Department, and the Faith Community Health and Neighbors Pharmacy boards. She has been involved with the Missouri Pharmacy Association through various committees and officer positions, including holding the office of president. Her culmination of her community work was recognized through the Bull of Hygeia Award in 2023. Next, let me introduce Tim Mitchell, who's a graduate of the Missouri State University with a BS in education. He attended the UMKC School of Pharmacy and graduated with a BS in pharmacy in 1996. Tim is the owner of Mitchell's Drug Stores, which consists of 2 traditional community pharmacies, a cost-plus pharmacy, a long-term care closed-door pharmacy, as well as co-owner of the Vital Care of 4 States Infusion Specialty and Compounding Pharmacy, all of which are located in Neosho, Missouri. Tim will be the first to tell you that pharmacy is no longer simply about filling prescriptions, but requires pharmacists to be well-rounded healthcare providers. Tim pushes his pharmacies to be patient-centered by providing medication therapy management services, immunizations, point-of-care tests, medication administration, diabetes education, heart healthy services, transition to care service, as well as travel wellness medicine services, as well as consultative services for his patients. Tim's stores serve as rotation sites for the UMKC pharmacy students, as well as the St. Louis College of Pharmacy. All pharmacists at his location are members of the MPA, NCPA, and CPESN and provide care beyond dispensing medications. Recently, Tim has invested in training his pharmacy technicians to become community health workers. Tim feels that it's important that for pharmacists to embrace the new era of community pharmacy practice by adopting patient-centered approaches. Tim lives in Neosho with his wife, Michelle, of 37 years, and they have raised 5 children in Neosho, all of which have been in active involvement within the foundation of his success and his business success. Tim has served as the president of the Missouri Pharmacy Association, also on numerous other state and local boards for health and community awareness. Above all else, Tim says that his success in his business comes from the Lord and support of his family. Tim and his wife, Michelle, are also active in their nonprofit organization, Voices of Hope, where their family serves in Haiti, working with underprivileged children through medical wellness and spiritual needs. Welcome, Tim and Heather. Let me share a little bit about the Bull Hygeia Award. It is one of the most prestigious awards in pharmacy profession. It recognizes pharmacists who have demonstrated a sustained commitment to community service. As many of you know, the Bull Hygeia is rooted in the Greek mythology Hygeia, the daughter of the god of health. The symbol of the bull represents medicine, and the symbol of the snake wrapped around the bull represents the healing. The Bull Hygeia Award is awarded each year to the most deserving pharmacists in each state by the American Pharmacists Association, the National Alliance of Pharmacy State Associations, and the APHA Foundation. Now let's drop into our conversation. Heather, can you start us off by sharing with us a little bit more about your practice setting and what it is that excites you about what you do?
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction. And I'm just want to say thank you for inviting me here to talk to you both today, who I've known for many years, so this is a comfortable conversation. My practice has evolved over the years, as you saw through the introduction, as a early adopter of team-based care within my charitable clinic. I integrated pretty early into the primary care role, which was a natural fit for me. I'd always kind of worked in a team-based care environment. And so we really felt like that there was a need to help those beyond just giving a diagnosis as well, but also providing that care that pharmacists can do, medication education, as well as access to the medication. And so that's a role that is important for us to fill. You can give a patient a diagnosis, but if you can't give them the tools to get better, it doesn't help. And so that's kind of spurred a lot of things that I've done over the years, starting way back when, and continues to fulfill me today as an ambulatory care pharmacist, working alongside providers, as well as you mentioned, being a board member and helping with the charitable pharmacy and helping patients get access to that great pharmacist care.
Very good. Tim, share us a little bit more about your practice setting down in Neosho.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm apologize. I'm actually at a conference right now, so I'm sitting in an area here that's probably not ideal. But our practice in Southwest Missouri has evolved over the years, much like what Heather described. And I started off just basically trying to find needs in my community where I could plug myself in. Realized real quick that there were a lot of needs. And, some of the things that we had started we started a diabetes support group. We reached out to, and it was a free service or free opportunity for people to come in and gain more knowledge, meet new providers in the area. We also helped with our Newton County Area Community Coalition. It works with the Community Partnership of the Ozarks. And we actually helped design our first drug take back, but this was back in the early 2000s, maybe late 90s. They really liked it and started expanding it. And now it's a regular thing with the DEA. And I'm not saying I started it, but we helped get it going in our county. So, a lot of ways of working, how we plugged into the community. And the Ebola Hygeia actually came along as I knew about it, but I thought it was a big honor to be able to be awarded that. And before the Ebola Hygeia even came up in the picture, the Community Partnership of the Ozarks invited me one time to come up to Springfield to receive an award, or to give Heather an award. And they did the same thing to Heather. They said, Heather, we want you to come to this place. They didn't tell us that each other knew. Said it's going to be a surprise, so don't talk to them. And the interesting thing is we both gave each other an award for the similar kind of thing for community service. This was before the Ebola idea. So I felt it was a big privilege to receive an award from Heather and from the Community Partnership of the Ozarks, being able to work with our communities. And very well deserved on Heather's side. I feel like I'm very privileged to be able to connect with people in our community in this way, bringing people into our pharmacy and being able to gain more knowledge from the pharmacist, whether it be in drug take back or diabetes or whatever other type of setting that we might need to see. But just excited to be here and appreciate the opportunity to talk about it. So.
Very good. Thank you. Clearly, you both had some very innovative pharmacy practice settings that you've implemented. Why is that important? Most of the community thinks about pharmacists as working behind a counter. Why are these new practice settings and these new innovative practices pieces important? And how did you get into that? Why did you have that impetus to get there? Heather, will you start?
Sure, I can start. When I was a community pharmacist, started in hospital, really got my feet wet there, and again, team-based care, and understood the importance of that. And so I took that into my community practice. And I think what Tim and I have done over the years is just filling a need. We are a little bit of the hands and feet of the community. And so if we see a need in our community, we can fill that. And so a lot of the things that we did very early on, both in both our practices being like immunizations, point of care testing, and then integrating into primary care wasn't necessarily a thing. It wasn't called a certain thing. There wasn't a label to it. It was just, this is what my community needs. I'm going to figure out a way to do it. So that in a nutshell, I'll let Tim comment too.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to say this, and she's spot on, because that's exactly what I was thinking in my mind. And what's coming to head for me is the Joplin tornado in 2011. And I know I wasn't the only person that responded, but I responded. That tornado hit on a Sunday afternoon. I went up that evening to see if I could help, because I wasn't sure what I could do. And I had some friends at the college. Long story short, we ended up setting up a dispensary. We ended up going out and administering tetanus shots. That was a need. And that community had a severe trauma blow to the whole community. And everybody was in shock. And, there were people coming in with dust in their, it was just crazy in their eyes, ears. And I wasn't being the physician, but I was being the support person behind the physician, trying to help, provide medications for them or whatever. And then we saw the need for the tetanus. We talked with our health department and FQHC, and they're like, let's do this. Let's get an organized effort. So we went out and started giving it to the workers, the people that were coming to help, as well as being able to go out and administer to the individuals that were just trying to clean their own places up. So, and we saw the need for the diabetes support group. We saw the need for places for people to drop their unused and expired medications away. We knew that there was issues with, opioid that are sitting around out in people's homes that maybe had passed away or no longer using it. And we knew that there was some issues with opioid use, and another topic, of course. And so we felt this was a good opportunity to be able to have people be able to come and destroy their medications and get them off the street, basically, or get them out of grandma's cabinet where somebody could maybe have access to it. So anyhow, I agree. The need is where we respond to, and we are the hands and the feet, really. I think that's a great, description. So anyhow.
That is an excellent description. Thank you both for that. And obviously, you both have had a great run of leadership and innovative practice in the state of Missouri. And the type of awards like the Bull of Hygeia Award is really just a byproduct of what you would do anyway. But can each of you, starting with you, Heather, share with us, why is the Bull of Hygeia Award relevant? In this modern day of what we do in practice and modern social media, why is the Bull of Hygeia Award still something that's relevant to what we do in pharmacy?
Yeah, it is a big award. Like Tim said, it's that recognition. I never envisioned that would be something that I would obtain. I think as a student, when you looked at the people who did that, you kind of saw it as, wow, this culmination of all these years of effort. And again, to your point, it is a bit of, what we would do anyway. It's kind of what's within us is that need to help and to serve. And so I feel like, really the Bull of Hygeia does kind of recognize a greater purpose, beyond just having a degree and providing meds to patients, but a greater purpose of what a pharmacist can do in their community and beyond. And so, that impact that we can make as individuals, I would also add that there's no way I could make the impact that I've been able to be a part of without all the people around me. Tim, spoke of his family. Same thing with me, very supportive husband, very supportive people, friends, you all, and beyond, my places that I've been able to serve and work, the organizations that I've been able to be a part of. And, and even more, as a woman, where I started in pharmacy, there weren't as many of us, that were doing this PharmD thing, that were, foraying into these different areas. And so there are people that I looked up to that were women in leadership in these organizations, NCPA, and Charlia Leatherwood comes to mind, and others that I just idolized because they did amazing things. And I'm always so grateful that they helped lay that foundation for me to do things. And so if I in any way am able to lay that foundation for anyone else to be able to make impact, then for that I'm grateful.
Very good. Tim, what is your perspective on the value of the Bull Hygeia Award?
Well, I'm glad you're having Heather go first because she's doing all the heavy lifting on the descriptions and so forth. I think in a world of crazy stuff that's going on in profession and just in the world of, there's a lot of things going on that aren't necessarily as kind as they should be. I think it's important for us to realize what this is all about. And I agree, this is what we should do as human beings. I mean, I think it's important for people to understand that the Bull of Hygeia doesn't necessarily mean this person is much smarter or, a very innovative individual. It's somebody that cares, and it's somebody that wants to help individuals because that's what we've taken an oath to do. And I feel like it's important that people understand what the Bull of Hygeia is about and why it's important to recognize individuals that go that extra effort. I'm a common everyday pharmacist that just saw those needs, just like everybody else that's been there. And I do feel very privileged to be in that name, to have my name associated with the Bull of Hygeia. I received it in 22, and I had the privilege to be able to award that to Heather last year. Very well deserved for her, and I feel very privileged that they asked me to give it to her. So, and I think we caught her completely off guard. So,
well, recognition that each of you both deserve, and very much we appreciate you as leaders in our profession. Let's turn it towards the next generation of pharmacists. You have both had in-depth work with students and with prospective pharmacy students. What is your advice to that next generation? What do you offer to them?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. So love students. For the past 10-ish years, I've been able to be on faculty, had always taken students as a preceptor, and then now being able to have students in all those years of their pharmacy career, and their growth has been very exciting to see what their eyes opened has been really exciting. And one of the things that I encourage students to do is to keep that open mind, be open to all these experiences. I think that many students and many people have a sense of what they think a pharmacist does. And even coming into pharmacy school, a career that they're choosing, they feel like they know what they want to do, and this is what a pharmacist does. But once you're in pharmacy school and you have these opportunities to meet with people through student organizations, through rotation experiences, and even within the faculty that do some pretty diverse and cool things, I love that part. And so, as faculty at UMKC, I have loved bringing in innovation into the curriculum and really speaking to what is happening out in the world. And so it sometimes blows students' minds that pharmacists are doing certain things that they never imagined. So again, my biggest piece of advice is stay open to those experiences. Just be open to the people that you meet. You never, ever know who you're going to meet and where that'll lead you. I always say pharmacy is a super small world. You will see these people again. And so, just be open to those experiences and take them all in as much as you can.
Excellent. Tim, what is your thoughts?
I feel like students and other practitioners need to remember that you don't necessarily have to just stay behind the counter checking prescriptions all day long. That is an important part of the business and making sure people are getting the right medications. But open that box of opportunities to be able to help people make the world a better place. I actually spoke at the conference that I'm at yesterday, and I told pharmacists that I talked to, that I feel like it's important that we get out of our comfort zone, we get out of that box that we're in, and try. And you don't want to break the law, but you want to be able to, get out and spread your wings per se, and show the love to your community and to other people in the profession. So when I have students, and we're preceptors for UMKC and St. Louis students, as well as other. We do technicians and so forth, but I always try to encourage all of our individuals in our pharmacies to get out and volunteer, or get out and do some work in the community of some sort. And our community health workers are doing that as well, and I think that's important to add. That's a kind of a new thing in pharmacy, and so our community health workers are doing some amazing things, and they're probably doing things right now when I'm at this conference that I don't even know. But I try to lead by example. And I do feel like it's important for students as they're coming out, and other professionals that have already been graduated from a school of pharmacy, to understand that that's only part of the job, is knowing the pharmacology, but also know your community and know the people you're taking care of. So.
Can I add one thing too? Because Tim reminded me, and I love that when he spoke about getting involved, that a lot of times students are uncomfortable. We say, oh, you need to network. And they're like, well, how do I do that? What does that mean? And the easiest way to network is to get involved with your community. Because if you are involved, you're serving in a role, you have something to do. So you have a purpose for being there. And then you get to meet people. And I say, act like a journalist, ask questions, understand and figure it out. And so, the networking doesn't have to be this big, scary thing. The easiest way to do that is just start by getting involved. Get out of your comfort zone just a little bit and do that and get involved. So I love that.
I think that's a great point, Heather. And I encourage my students to actually get a networking buddy, right? Work in pairs. It's always easier to talk to someone else if you have someone standing next to you. You guys have brought up some great topics that I'd love to invite you back on another one of our Pharmacy Frontiers podcasts, maybe to talk about the charitable care pharmacy in depth, maybe talk about networking in depth, maybe talk about the community health workers and what that looks like, and the impact on patient care in Missouri. Perhaps we get you scheduled to come back at a later date.
Yep, we're always willing.
Let me give you one final word that you can just give a closing comment, and then I'll do a final closeout for us. Tim, do you want to give a final closing comment?
Well, I was just talking earlier. I think it's important that people do get out of their comfort zone. I think it's important that they try to I like to use the word nimble. Be nimble in what you're doing, and being able to pivot on some things. And it may not be what you planned, but be open to those opportunities to, make the world a better place, and make the profession a better profession. There's a lot of negative things out there in all the crazy world that we live in. And I think it's a huge opportunity to do something positive for even just a few people. So appreciate the opportunity.
Heather, what are your closing comments?
Yeah, I'll echo Tim there. Be open, be nimble, recognize and be proud of pharmacy and this profession. This profession has given me so much. And one of the great things that it's given me is a platform and a way to introduce myself into, these opportunities that we talk about, being involved in your community. You are already a trusted individual as a pharmacist, or someone working in a pharmacy. Even you are a trusted individual already, so that gives you that credibility to walk in the door and to help and to get involved. So be proud of that and figure out ways that you can contribute to it as well.
Well stated, Heather. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, Tim. Thank you both for sharing your insights today, and thank you for being leaders in the practice of pharmacy and for being role models for others in the practice of pharmacy. And thank you for being on the Pharmacy Frontiers podcast today. And we invite our listeners to join us each month and listen to other podcasts as we discuss other issues affecting pharmacy practice in our communities today.